What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another week 12 of the Playbook with Joey and Zach on WZBC AM Sports Radio. We hope all's well with each of you and hope the first half of the week has gone well. Believe it or not, it is our last episode before spring break, so we will try to cover a ton in tonight's episode. Tonight we will start by recapping the Hockey Showdown from this past weekend between BC and BU Hockey and preview BC Hockey's final home-and-home series of the regular season against UMass Amherst this coming weekend.
Then we'll give our picks for the Hockey East tournament and the ACC men's basketball tournament, both of which will take place next week. After that, we'll discuss Major League Baseball's failure to reach an agreement with the union before the collective bargaining agreement deadline, forcing the league to cancel the first two series of the season. At the end, we'll discuss the recent performances of the Celtics and Bruins. And another announcement we have spring break off next week. Then the Wednesday night after that, we'll have a March Madness preview, which we're super excited about. Love March Madness, so can't wait to get into that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, hopefully we have some good things to say about the Hockey's tournament, too. And the ACC
Hopefully.
Tournament. Hopefully.
We'll
Talk
see.
about that a little bit. But tonight to start off, BC, BU. Friday's game against BU got canceled, unfortunately, at BC. Kind of killed the vibe. All the hype was gone because of the snowstorm killing
Yeah,
it.
not many students ended up showing up. I didn't go. Just had a lot going on. It's kind of tough having a game Sunday at 4 p.m. Solid wins for the team regardless, but it's definitely not ideal that they moved the game to a Sunday afternoon. Because originally it was supposed to be the women's game against UMaine was supposed to be like 4 p.m. and men's versus BU at 7 o'clock, and everyone's psyched for primetime 7 p.m. Friday night game against BU. Yeah, everyone was stoked for that, and then Friday morning we get an email that the women's game will be at 7 and the men's game is Sunday, which
tough hit.
Didn't really make sense for me. I'd rather, honestly, if they could push the BU game to 4 on Friday than 4 on Sunday.
Yeah, that's
Even
tough.
that would have been better if they had to delay the main game, but
yeah, it was tough. At BC, they played well on Sunday. Saturday's game was tough, 6-3 loss to BU at BU. Jack McBain added 2 goals and 3. He has 3 goals in his last 2 games. Actually, had 2 goals on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. Drew Hellison also had an assist. He's had 3 points in his last 2 games as well. They fell down 3-0 right away. It was 5-1 after BU stopped forward. Dylan Peterson had a couple goals. Luke Tuck also added a couple goals as well for them. We know BU's offense can score. BC's defense had to play better than they've ever have if they wanted to beat them even once, and obviously they did Sunday. So it's a good win for BC. Sunday's 3-1 win was BU's first regulation loss since November 27th, actually, against, I believe it was Cornell. Which is nuts. They haven't lost a game since Thanksgiving, basically, but in regulation. But BC got it done.
Big win for BC.
Sunday, big win. BC to go 2-2 in the last week against Northeastern and BU hockey was huge. That's what they kind of needed just to get back on track. New mindset. Now you're 500 in the last 4 games. They need to win the Hockey's tournament, obviously, to make it into the Frozen Four tournament. And one question mark is always Eric Dopp, and he's played very well. Sunday played very well. He stopped 41 on his 42 shots faced.
Yeah, he's been holding up the last few weeks. Giving up 6 goals to BU on Saturday night was tough, obviously. Not all those are his fault. Then again, we've had a lot of issues with defense this year, especially him.
He's caught sleeping every game.
But, overall the last few weeks, outside of that game Saturday night, he's really stepped up the last few weeks. We haven't really seen some of these 5-6 goal blowouts like we have earlier in this year.
Yeah, we were accustomed to them pretty quickly, actually, after the first 2 weeks. But positive is how well the Olympians have played in their trip back to playing now, college hockey. McBain and Hellison scored 2 goals past Team USA's Drew Comesso. This weekend, Giles also had an empty net at the end of the game. Hellison and McLaughlin had 2 points each on Sunday. Both of those Olympians were huge as well. The Team USA ones, obviously McBain, I highlighted 3 goals in his last 2 games. He played great. And one problem, BC's defense has been the issue. Dobb played very well, though, and I think for the most part this whole season it's been a consistency on defense because BC's actually scored a good amount of goals. Right now they've scored the second most amount of goals in the Hockey East with 102 on the season, but they've also surrendered the most goals with 113, which is 14 more than any other team in the Hockey East. So behind Maine's second with 99. To allow 14 more goals than any other school in the Hockey East just proves defense has been an issue. And Dopp is part of that, but we know Marshall Lawrence caught sleeping on a daily basis out there. It's not always Dopp's fault.
We don't have much depth either. It's kind of Hellison and then it's kind of a free-for-all.
Offensive guys, too.
Yeah.
Hellison's, a better defensive defenseman than Marshall Lawrence, but neither one are, like a Jordan Harris on Northeastern where they'd rather play defense than, try to score a goal and get an assist. Different mindset, obviously, to be an offensive defenseman or be a primary defensive defenseman. But as seen with Northeastern's 2 goals a week and a half ago, 2 or 3 of them were Marshall Lawrence falls in that game at BC. Just sleeping.
Yeah, sometimes he just sleeps. He goes up too far trying to get a goal, trying to make a highlight play, and then all of a sudden kind of gets caught lacking, and then, guys get behind him, and 1, 2, 3, it's behind the net. So
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. I mean, BC's got 2 big games this coming weekend against UMass Amherst. UMass Amherst has been hot all year. They're currently first in the Hockey East, 14-6-2 on the year. They have 46 points, so they lead the Hockey East there. They're 14-6-2 in the Hockey East, and then 19-10-2 overall. They've scored 101 goals, so right behind BC. BC's got 102, so they're actually third in the Hockey East in goals scored, UMass. But they've also given up the least with 74 goals, besides Northeastern gave 58 this year. Gotta love Simp and Levi. Just goats, dude. TJ Simp, Simp for Simp. He's the goat.
Boys.
He's the GOAT. But, UMass Amherst hockey's been putting up a lot of goals. And they've been playing great defense, too, for the most part. Getting up 74 goals all year in 31 games is really good. Northeastern's 58 in 33 games is elite, though.
Wow, yeah.
59 now in 34 games, actually. But
that is pretty elite. I mean, they're a solid defensive team, and they have high hopes for the Hockey East tournament, so we'll see how that plays out next week.
Yeah, so BC, UMass Amherst, any predictions? Big game coming in, obviously. BU.
Should be a good game Friday night.
BU was huge, so having 2 more.
I mean, having UMass come to town, too, the reigning national champ, it's pretty cool. Tough that it comes in the Friday night of spring break because you'll be chilling at the Cape. I'll be in Clearwater Beach, so neither of us will be able to go to the game, but it's all right. Either way, it should be a good game for the remaining crowd that's still on campus. This BC team, you really never know the way they play. Sometimes they get hot some nights, and then other nights they just get smoked. But any given night, this team can beat anyone. So I got BC in a win 4-2 over UMass. Should be a good game either way, though. I expect the offense to stay consistent at the least. What you said, McBain, McLaughlin, being very reliable this year and scoring a lot of goals for the team.
Yeah, I think the one thing is stopping UMass Amherst from scoring. I know they played Northeastern and it got out of hand by the first period. Levi gave 4 goals in the first period and change, I think, if I remember right. So it's slowing them down. I mean, Scott Morrow's been great. He's got 30 points for them. Robbie Trevino's got 42. He's got 17 goals and 25 assists. It's not stopping those 2 guys. Matt Murray's been great all year, also in net for them. He's given up 2.32 goals a game, so you can score against him. Still a good, goals against, average, but BC can at least score a couple goals because their offense hasn't really been the issue for the most part. They're losing a lot of 6-3, 5-2 games. So getting 2 or 3 goals a game typically should win you more games than BC has this season.
For sure.
And also Matt Murray's got 92% save percentage, so still a good save percentage, but you can get some shots on goal. BC's actually been lighting it up in the shots on goal department against Northeastern. They had 43 in that beanpot game, 42 in that beanpot game, where Semp was just unreal.
Yeah, Semp saved 42 out of the 43.
Such a beast,
crazy.
Dude. He really is a beauty. That guy's a beast. But Matt Murray has played great, so I think one thing for BC is just getting shots on goal. I mean, he's 92% save percentage, as I said, but just keep lighting up the shots on goal. Like we said against Semp, BC really did light it up. Semp was just unreal.
Just got to keep that momentum going after the big win Sunday, so should be a good game regardless. Definitely excited to see what happens with that.
Yeah, should be good. I'll give my prediction. Let me think. I'll go BC winning the Friday night one, even though it'll be a tough crowd. Probably won't be as many people. And I know UMass Amherst fans travel well, which really is devastating knowing that BC won't have many fans there. Since I know UMass fans, they travel well after they won the Hockey East tournament and then obviously won the national championship last year. They're going to travel well. But I'm going to go BC 3-2 win on Friday, and I will go UMass. But hey, splitting again actually would be good for BC. If they go 3-3, against Northeastern, BU, and UMass, that would actually be huge going into the Hockey's tournament. I'm going to go UMass.
Yeah, that would be impressive by itself.
5-2
those 3 teams
on Saturday. They like to run up the score, so maybe it'll be like a 4-2 game, and they'll get it, go like a minute to go or something. They do love running up the score. That's why I really can't stand UMass Amherst hockey. But
I'm not a fan of them either.
That's how it is. It's unfortunate.
Yes, let's move into Hockey's tournament actually coming up next week. Should be electric. A lot of hot teams right now: BU, Northeastern, UMass Amherst. A lot of contenders. Just the nature of the tournament anyway. Just having single elimination hockey, it's really anyone's game. Just whoever gets hot at the right time. We saw it with UMass Lowell last year.
It was UMass Lowell that won. And UMass Lowell won last year. I forgot. That was UMass Amherst for a second. You're right.
Yeah, they got hot at the right time. Had the big comeback against BC in the semifinals. That was a really tough game for us to watch. But you really never know. So I still think, any team has a shot, especially a team like BC that's, some nights they've been really hot and then some nights they look horrible and look like they're falling asleep really. So, I wouldn't close the door on any major upsets in the tournament just yet. Definitely excited for it though. Who's your winner right now?
I think we know my prediction.
Yeah,
we know we're going with it.
I don't even know why I asked.
I think the interesting thing, though, is now this year is the first year they're doing all 11 schools are able to participate. So it's single elimination, like Zach said. It used to be the top 8 teams compete in the bottom 3 in the tournament. But this year it's going to be all 11, actually, rather than the top 8. Seeds 6, 7, and 8 will host seeds 11, 10, and 9 respectively in the opening round this coming Wednesday next week, March 9th. After reseeding, the top 3 seeds will host the winners of the opening round, while the 4 seed will host the 5 seed in the quarterfinals on Saturday, March 12th. This comes straight from the Hockey's website. Also, the championship and semifinals will be at the Garden, actually, again, on March 18th and 19th, which is pretty cool. It's getting a return to the Garden. But it looks like right now it would be BC versus UNH on March 9th. It's looking like that would be the first round game. BC and UNH are currently the 8 and 9 teams. I think the interesting thing is that BC earlier in the year played UNH in, I believe it was January 14th and 15th in Durham, New Hampshire, and they lost 3-2 and 5-2. UNH does get some shots on goal. They average 2.25 goals a game, but they're 2-2 in their last 4 games, just like BC. They did beat UMass Lowell last weekend 3-0, so not this last weekend, but 2 weekends ago now. Would be a solid matchup. A couple guys to highlight. Obviously, we already highlighted Jack McBain and Hellison. Dopp obviously will play a big role. McLaughlin. Senior forward Jack Pearson on UNH leads the team with 12 goals right now, so they don't have a crazy goal scorer with 25, 20 goals. They just have a lot of guys that contribute. Little things like assists. 10 goals by 5 guys rather than 2 guys with 20 goals. So
we've seen them hang us some tough games this year too. They beat BC twice this year.
Yeah, BC.
Those are tough games to watch. That was over winter break.
UMass Lowell, beating them's actually tough to do, especially since UMass Lowell's been really hot all year. But Jack Pearson had a goal and assist against BC so far this year. And the Tyler Ward is tied with Pearson for the team lead in points with 23. He also had 2 assists against BC earlier in the year, so 2 points just like Pearson. And then goalie Mike Robinson surrenders 2.46 goals a game, so with a 90% save percentage. So 90% save percentage, I mean, none of them are elite. You can get shots on goal on all these guys, and it's just about timing it right and BC setting up their offense, which they've done. It's just been defense, as I said, and BC can score for sure. But my prediction for this game, I'm going to go BC 3-2 win over UNH. I think it'd be a good game. I think BC comes on top. They got more talent. Just UNH obviously beat them earlier in the year when BC probably just wasn't feeling. Now they're 2-2 in their last 4 games. So
higher stakes too. I would take BC as well in that game. I'm going to go actually 4-1. I don't think it'll be that close. We've seen UNH hang in a couple of these close regular season games, but it kind of seems like looking at a lot of these past games that they just caught teams at the right time. Obviously, Hockey East higher stakes makes it a bigger deal for BC, and BC does just have a lot more talent out there offensively and defensively. So it should be a solid win for BC, and then that would move us. If all the seeding holds still, that would move us into the quarterfinals against UMass, which would be a tough matchup. But then again, single elimination tournament, high stakes. You never know what's going to happen. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'd be a good game. Who do you got winning the Hockey East tournament?
I got BC winning the Hockey East tournament. I know it's a hot take, but obviously high stakes. All you got to do is win 4 games. So
my dad would be psyched.
It's just a matter of what team gets hot at the right time, and so it's anyone's game really. We've seen this team struggle all year, but they've still had a lot of positives, beating Northeastern, BU, and then hopefully UMass this weekend. 3 of the top teams in the Hockey East. Those would be huge wins, obviously, if we can pull together UMass this weekend. So this team can really hang with anyone. There's a lot of talent. Obviously, it'd be nice if the defense could get figured out, but it seems like that won't happen in time. But if the goal scoring can remain strong, you got guys like McBain, McLaughlin. They can really carry the load on offense, and if we can keep that momentum up, I got BC winning 4 straight games.
I respect that. Quick shout out, my family friend from the Cape, Tim Loftus, the whole Loftus family, full of goats. He gave his prediction 4-3 BC on Friday against UMass.
Let's go.
We got another BC winning prediction on Friday. Which is
nice.
That's 3 BC predictions. Hard to get all of us on everyone on the same page.
It doesn't happen too often for BC hockey this year.
Hopefully they win. But
what's your prediction now?
So I got Northeastern winning Hockey East. I'm sure it's not a surprise to anyone here. I'll go off on a quick ramble as I always do every week. For Northeastern, it's looking like it'd be the winner of Providence versus Vermont right now if the season ended today, but a lot could change. They have to be prepared to play anyone, really. The Hockey East is very close right now. Northeastern, Merrimack, UConn, UMass Lowell, BU, Providence are all within 3 points of each other, which is one game, one winning game in regulation. So there's a lot at stake this coming weekend in the final regular season series of the year and for all the Hockey East teams. Northeastern was in great position, actually. Had 2 huge wins last weekend against UConn. I had 6 straight Northeastern hockey games, actually, which is impressive. Until Saturday last week, I missed it. I wasn't
even hitting UMass Lowell on the road.
I did. We met all the players, too. I've already shouted them all out. They're all great guys. They're all beasts. Shout out Mark Walsh, too. He was at 5 of them last weekend. He missed, but he was at 5 of them. But they lost last night to UVM. It was a COVID postponement game from, I think it was January. They postponed it till now, and they fell 1-0. Couldn't get anything going offensively. Really tough game to lose, especially since they looked so great this past weekend. Aiden McDonough was great on Friday. He had 2 assists and a goal in a 3-1 win at Matthews Arena. Had a goal from Gunnar Wagon also. Shout out Finn Kelly. He's the one that made the Gunnar Wagon nickname. Saw him comment on his Instagram.
Let's go. You love that name.
It's the best nickname in college hockey, Gunnar Wagon. But Ty Jackson added a goal. And then Saturday, a 5-2 win. They trailed 2-0 after 1 and 2-1 after 2 periods. They had 4 goals in the third period, the Huskies. A hat trick from Aiden McDonough. He also had another assist. 22 goals this season. Tied for second right now in college hockey with A.J. Vanderbeck of Northern Michigan. He's also 1 goal behind Ethan Frank of Western Michigan. I've highlighted all 3 of those guys all year since they've been in the top of college hockey scoring the entire season. It's been neck and neck. But McDonough, 7-point weekend. Very great weekend for him. 4 goals, 3 assists. And then also Ty Jackson, Jack Hughes, both added goals on Saturday as well. And then Jordan Harris also had an assist. Had to shout him out. BC versus Merrimack. No, not BC. Excuse me. Northeastern plays Merrimack this coming Friday and Saturday. Friday's senior day, actually. So Julian Kislin, Tommy Miller, Jordan Harris. They all get one more run at Matthews Union for a regular season game. They should host a playoff game, so I'd imagine it won't be the last game at Matthews. But I think they need to win both games. I'm going to go Huskies 4-2 win on Friday, 3-1 win on Saturday. I think Riley Hughes, Aiden McDonough, Jordan Harris, Sam Klinger, Jakub Novak, Ty Jackson, they all got to score goals. One thing I want to highlight real quick is how great Devin Levi played this past weekend. Coming back from the Olympics from Team Canada, he stopped 100 of the 103 shots he faced, actually 60 out of 61 on Friday, impressive. 40 of 42 on Saturday. That was elite. I mean, it was just unreal. It was honestly unfair how good he was. And I'm a big Semp guy. Semp's unreal. That's my boy. But Levi was just out of his mind on this both games, Friday and Saturday. I know yesterday was a tough game against UVM. You can't lose that game to UVM. That was actually tough, especially since now they fall from 13 to 16 in the POI's rankings, and you really want to be top 11 or 12 to feel comfortable going into the Hockey East tournament. Since if a team wins their division tournament, they obviously make it in. So
yeah, UVM's really been struggling all year too.
Yeah,
5-15 in the conference.
I mean, beating them would have given us second place in the Hockey East, and then also a chance to win the regular season Hockey East title if BC were to beat UMass one game and Northeastern were to beat Merrimack both games, which that's devastating to lose. But as I said before, though, I always roll with the skis, so I'm going to take them in the Hockey East tourney. But as I said, the Hockey's very close right now. And I was actually at Northeastern's basketball game last Tuesday against Charleston. Tough loss there, but shout out Timmy Loftus, my boy from Emmanuel. And then I was at Thursday's game against William and Mary, big win for basketball. And then Saturday, I got to see senior day for my boys Shaq Walters and Jason Strong. I got to see their last games at Matthews Arena. So tough loss there to Elon. Arena. I was there 3 straight days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then last Tuesday. So
and Tuesday too.
4 to 5 days. And then I hit it.
Day, it's like I'm going to Northeastern.
Then I hit it. I was there today actually too. I had class at Copley for my theology class. Shout out Monsignor Bergen, the GOAT from Southie. I was in Copley today, so I met up with Mark Walsh. Me and him got lunch, which was lit. Mark Walsh, the GOAT. I've said his name just about every episode. But Saturday, I actually went to Northeastern too. My cousin Finn. Shout out Uncle Gene, Helena, Tristan,
had a big night
Finn.
at Northeastern, tore it up out
we
there.
We had a great night. As I said, shout out Uncle Gene, Helena, Tristan, and Finn for a great Saturday. Went out to dinner, had a great time. It was truly a pleasure. And then the boys got after it afterwards, me, Tristan, and Finn. So that was 3 straight nights at Northeastern. And then also I was there today. So what's that, 5 out of the last 7 days I was there? 5 out of the last 8, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's impressive.
But yeah, I've been running it up there. But
big streak for Northeastern.
Shout out to Helena and Gene. They really gave us a great time on Saturday. We had a great dinner, and then obviously being able to go to.
Can tell you had a great time afterwards.
Yeah, too. Yeah. So we got sidetracked with them, but we had a good night. But got a little sidetracked. So Hockey East Finals. I'm gonna go skis by a milli. I'm gonna take them over UMass Amherst 3-2 win. Obviously, if you win the Hockey East tournament, it's an automatic bid to the Frozen Four tournament. And as I said, Northeastern's currently 16th in the pairwise, and you want to be 11 or 12 to really be safe. So they need to run the table and get a big win.
For sure.
Need someone to step up. But there's my rambling about Northeastern. We'll move on to, let's see. Oh, AIC hockey real quick. Hold on. Just had to finish my college hockey. They won their 4th straight regular season title in the Atlantic Hockey Conference. Finished the season 18-12-3, despite the 1-5-1 record to start the season. The first 7 games, they were also 3-9-1 in their first 13 before my boy Steven called in. When he called in, they went an 11-game winning streak and with 13-1-1 or something in their last 15 games when he called in at one point. Senior forward Chris Theodore has been great all year. He's got 26 points. Jake Stell, my boy, my favorite player on the team. He's got 25 points, just like Justin Young. He's also got 25 points as well. And Jake Kokoski's played well all season in net. He's 12-7-3 in his sophomore season, redshirt sophomore season, that is. So my conference predictions there, I'm going to go AIC by a milli in the Atlantic Hockey Division. I get Michigan in the Big Ten, Minnesota State, the Central Collegiate Hockey Association. I got Quinnipiac in the ECAC. All of those are kind of favorites. They've been dominating all year, so Michigan actually might be second or third in the Big Ten. But then I got Northeastern in the Hockey East, I got Western Michigan, and the NCHC. Okay, there we go. There's a college hockey label. Got it all
there you
in.
Go. Mm-hmm.
What a run.
Yes, now we'll move into college basketball, BC basketball, and then the ACC tournament's coming up next week as well. So super exciting time for college basketball. I'm pumped for, the conference tournaments to start beginning, and then March Madness as well. So BC basketball, they've had a solid last few weeks, actually. They beat expectations. Actually, after our episode last Wednesday, they had a big win over NC State, 69-61, giving them 2 ACC wins in a row, which is great to see. They haven't done that all year. And then Clemson at Saturday at home, they had a tough loss for senior day, 70-60. But the team put up a good fight. They brought it close within 6 points a lot of times at the end of the game, and just couldn't finish. They couldn't bring it back together at the end. Clemson held strong. Chase Hunter had 23 points for Clemson. He was a great shooter, shooting 7 for 9 from the field. And then Elamir Dawes, who kind of killed us in the first half of our first game against Clemson this year, he added 12 points as well, hitting 4 3-pointers. He had 16 points, actually. So we had a tough time stopping him, and he had a lot of open looks from 3. But on the BC side of things, Karnick led the way with 17 points, shooting 5 for 6 from the field. Jaden Zachary had another solid performance, scoring 14 points. I thought he's been really impressive this year. Great to see him. He kind of does it all. He gets steals, assists, rebounds. He's actually right now in 4th place for the most steals by a freshman in BC history. Wow. Which is impressive. And with 2 more games to go, we actually have a game against Miami tonight, which we're going to at 9 o'clock, which we're psyched about. And then we close out the regular season at Georgia Tech on Saturday. He's got a chance to move up to number 1, who I believe is Dana Barros, who's, a BC and NBA legend. Yeah, so that'd be really cool to see him work his way up there. He's been super impressive for a freshman all year. Looking at the box score for BC versus Clemson, Clemson kind of dominated the glass, having 40 rebounds to BC's 30. They shot better from 3-point. BC really struggled. BC shooting 20% from 3. It was slow all night. Brevin Galloway had a couple good shots, finished with 11 points, shooting 3 for 9 from 3. Definitely a step up from the way he's looked in games like Duke, where he went like 1 for 12 or something, which was a bit of a headache. But Saturday he looked solid in front of the home crowd for senior day. Not a lot of depth used by BC on Saturday. The only 2 guys that came in off the bench, BC used a 7-man rotation. It was Kanye Jones and DeMar Langford. DeMar Langford coming off the bench because he got hurt during the NC State game last week. But solid game overall for the team. Can't be mad about that loss. And then should be a good Miami game tonight. So who do you got in that one?
Yeah, it should be a good game. BC currently right now are 4-point underdogs, and this game 4.5 was the line. Should be a good game. I think BC could definitely eke out a win. I think it'd be a close one. That NC State win last week was a huge one. Quinta Post's return was huge. He had 18 points, 4 rebounds. Connick dominated the boards, had 11 points and 9 rebounds. I think rebounding was a huge issue in both of their absences when, we had Justin Vanderbond playing, 10 minutes, and you had Gianni Thompson playing center, and Makai Ashton Langford is, probably playing small forward because they had to move DeMar Langford to center. I mean, the whole lineup was mixed. You had guys playing forward and center and all that.
I do like the way BC's been using Karnick and Post together on the court. I think both of them have been taking the starting lineup. Yeah, we need the size out there.
We need both. It's definitely hard to defend. But I think it'd be a good game. I'll take, since I'm not even betting on it, why not? I'll take BC by 3. I think it'd be a close game. I think it comes down to shooting free throws and threes. If we can't hit our threes and free throws, I'll take Miami by like 15, honestly, because I think it's
when this team can shoot, though, they can hang with anyone.
That's the thing.
We saw that game against Notre Dame 2 weeks ago. We lost by 4 in overtime. Then, when we crushed Notre Dame at the start of the season, hung in some close games against Louisville and a couple other teams. Like, who do we play? UNC the second time at home. We put up a good fight. This team's really looked solid all year, I thought. Definitely beat expectations for year 1 of the Earl Grant era. The future's bright, too. You see freshmen like Jaden Zachary and Kanye Jones really stepping up. And then a lot of 4-star recruits coming in next year. two guys. So really exciting for the future of the program. I got BC by 6 tonight. Last home game of the year. I think they really want to cap this thing off right for the season. I mean, they're going to come up and play really hard, especially after a tough loss against Clemson last weekend. And then, they had been hot before that too, beating NC State and Florida State the first time they won 2 ACC games in a row all year. Miami's been hot though. They're 12-6 in the conference, 29 overall. That's good enough to land them the number 4 spot in the conference right now. They're looking solid, like an ACC championship contender right now. One player to watch out for, Cam McGusty. He's been averaging almost 18 points in the season. He's an efficient shooter too at 47%. Definitely someone BC's going to have to watch out for, because he's a 40% three-point shooter.
Oh, yeah, that's tough.
And, we've seen how this team can kind of get torched by a lot of shooters. Like even Clemson last week, Chase Hunter and Elamir Dawes kind of killed us out there. We didn't really have an answer for their shooting. So we're definitely going to have to match fire with fire. And, we'll need some hot performances from guys like Brevin Galloway and Mackay out there to kind of match that shooting. Because when this team can shoot, they can win against anybody, really, it seems like.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm going to go, as I said, BC by 3. They still play Miami tonight at 9, and then Georgia Tech also. They should beat Georgia Tech, so they can prove their seeding, since right now the 10 to 13 seeds all have 6 ACC wins, so it'll really come down to these last 2 games. Louisville, Clemson, Pittsburgh, and BC all got 6 ACC wins. Squeaking out a win tonight would be huge, and then hopefully beating Georgia Tech, you'd have 8 ACC wins, which 6 right now is honestly an improvement. That's been positive.
Yeah, that was my target at the start of the season. We talked on week 1 or 2 about our goals for BC basketball for the season. I said 6 or 7 ACC wins is a success, and it really has been. I mean, 6-12 in the ACC isn't a bad record at all for a team that is really kind of depleted and just in a total rebuild right now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So if the conference tournament started tonight, I believe it'd be BC playing Pittsburgh in the first round on March 8th. But obviously there's 2 games left, so a lot can change since, as I said, there are 4 teams with 6 ACC wins between the 10, 11, 12, and 13 seeds. So we'll see. I think if they win one game in the ACC tournament, I mean, let's say they beat Pittsburgh 1 game. I mean, that's
impressive on its own. We haven't won an ACC tournament game forever, it feels like.
It'd be an improvement on its own. I mean, just being able to stay close in the game, because, I mean, there's been a lot of ACC tournament games in the past where we've gotten blown out. There've been some couple close ones, but, we haven't really competed too much in the ACC tournament since.
Yeah, freshman year, I think we played Notre Dame in the first round or 2 years ago.
Since the Reggie Jackson days in the Big East.
Yeah, seriously.
Better. I mean, Reggie the GOAT.
Yeah, we played Notre Dame, a team that, we had a chance to beat 2 years ago, and then we got beat by 20 down in North Carolina for that game. So it's been a tough couple of years for BC basketball in the ACC tournament, but this year is really different the way this team has looked. Since the Wake Forest game, we haven't lost by more than we lost by 20 to Syracuse, but besides that, we haven't lost by more than 13 points since December, which is really impressive. So, proud of the way this team has kind of hung in a lot of close games this season. Really played ACC teams hard. It's definitely a step up from what we've seen in the Jim Christian days when we'd be getting beat by 40 points against Syracuse or something like that. Definitely a huge step up to see. So I'm really excited with the future of this team. And I really think we could pull off 1 ACC win in the tournament. So I wouldn't be surprised to see us move on, and then we'd end up getting stuck against a team like Notre Dame or UNC.
Yeah, Tech or something,
which, obviously, UNC, I love betting for BC, but I'm taking UNC in that one. But Notre Dame, who's the 2 seed actually right now. Yeah, for sure. Notre Dame being the 2 seed in the ACC right now, I kind of think they're a fluke. I mean, they've been hot all year, but they don't really have talent like the other teams do. You got a guy like Prentice Hub, who's a great scorer and a great leader for that team. But, beyond him, it's, kind of anyone's game out there. And we've seen BC hang close with that team both times they played this year. We actually beat them by 20 the first time, and then had a tough overtime loss without Karnick or Post or who else fouled out? Gianni Thompson that game.
Gianni Thompson, Vanderbilt fouled out.
Bickerstaff.
Vanderbilt fouled out, I'm pretty sure, too,
yeah.
Like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, we had a couple injuries. I forget who was injured and who fouled out, but we had no big men at the end.
There was no Karnick at Post, and then everyone else just fouled out.
Yeah, DeMar Langford was playing center in overtime, which is crazy.
Well, Post was out, Karnick fouled out, and then there was one other
Vanderbilt
guy.
fouled out. And
Vanderbilt fouled out the first 5 minutes.
Bickerstaff was injured.
Yeah, there you go. So Bickerstaff
and Gianni Thompson fouled out, too.
Yes, so Bickerstaff was out, and Post was out for the game. But I think my conference prediction for the ACC tournament, I'm going to go Duke over, I feel like Wake. I don't know, They've been playing stronger. They're 22-8. They're 15-2 at home. They're 12-7 in the ACC. I think they can make a little bit of run. I'm going to go Duke over Wake. That's my prediction. I think BC can win a game. And if they do, that's an improvement. Even if they don't, I mean, they played better than I thought anyone would coming into this. I said 6 wins would be great, which they did, but still saying 6 wins for a team that's only won 5 ACC games in the last 2 years with Jim Christian, whatever it was. I think it was 5. Having 6 is just an improvement its own. But yeah, what do you got for predictions? I got Duke over Wake. Close game, but I'm
it should be a good one. So I got the rivalry. I know Duke UNC is a huge rivalry coming up this weekend. Average tickets for the game are going for like $5,000, something crazy, because it's Coach K's last game versus UNC at home.
True.
But both teams have been super hot all year. Duke being number 1 in the ACC, 4th overall in the country right now, and then UNC being 14-5 in the ACC. They've been hot all year. I mean, obviously Duke's got loads of talent with guys like Wendell Moore and Paolo Banchero. You really can't stop them. I don't see any way that any team is going to beat them. I have them going all the way. And then UNC has looked really good all year as well. They've won their last 4 ACC games in a row and 6 out of the last 7. They've been really hot as well, and they're most likely going to be on other sides of the bracket, so I really don't see any team stopping either of those two until the finals. So I got Duke over UNC by 12 in the finals. Should be a great game. Should be a good ACC tournament. But those those teams are both really unstoppable right now. They're both 2 solid tournament teams, and we'll probably see them both go far in March Madness.
I'll go Duke over Wake by 8. I don't know. I just kind of thought Wake, and I was like, yeah, screw it, I'm going Wake. So I'll go Duke over Wake by 8.
They've been good this year, too. I mean,
they're solid, yeah.
They crushed BC when we played them. They beat us by 30.
Team. They're a good team. So really quick, watch out
when
for
they
the
get hot,
CAA, too.
Go ahead and talk about
just
the CAA.
Really quick, CAA. Northeastern will play William & Mary on March 5th in D.C. For the first round of the CAA tournament. Northeastern defeated them last Thursday, at home, 62-28. It's the lowest amount of points Northeastern's given up since 1960. Behind Chris Doherty's 13 points and 15 rebounds. A Notre Dame transfer played very well. 9 points and 9 rebounds with Shaq Walters. He's a senior who's graduating. And 13 points with Jason Strong as well. Both of those guys are seniors, Walters and Strong. 2 of the last guys I know on the team, so we're losing an era there of knowing everyone on the Northeastern basketball team. But with COVID, missing a year, and also having it be, my freshman year too, I didn't go to as many games as I wanted to. I still went to probably about 7 home games, but I only went to 3 this year. So it was definitely tough to get out to as many games, but still nice to see Shaq Walters and Jason Strong on their senior day. They played really well, both of them, and that game was a tough loss to Elon, but they both had some nice runs in it. Strong probably had 14 points, I believe, at the top of my head, and Walters had, I think, 8. But Northeastern finished the year 2-16 in the CAA, which is just unprecedented. 8-21 overall. They're always, 12-6, 11-7 in the CAA, and usually, 20-10 overall. But having it be 8-21, that's obviously tough. Bill Cohen right now is going for his 19th, which would be the most CAA tournament wins of all time. Absolute legend. If they can close out a game, I don't see why not. If they can't win a couple games, they have the talent. It's just about putting it together. They just got to close a game. They need a true point guard. Obviously, we had one with Tyson Walker, transferred to Michigan State. Walker was unreal last year. He averaged 19 points a game, and then I think 11 his freshman year.
Wow.
He was elite. He actually had a game winner, too, for Michigan State against number 4 Purdue this past weekend on Saturday. Beat them on a game-winning shot. It was tough to lose him. They haven't really had a true point guard since. Nikola Jogo, another Notre Dame transfer, played really well this year, but 6'6", 6'7" guy. He's a guard. Bigger guard, but I wouldn't say he's a point guard. He's more of like a shooting guard. He did bring the ball up just like Shaq Walters, Jamil Telford. But I hope they can win a game or two. I think they can be William & Mary, and then who knows where they'll go after that. But hoping they can win a game, and I'll be rooting for my boys there, Jason Strong, Shaq Walters, Jamil Telford, all of them. Roll skis, you already know. But had to give that prediction. And then also, I'll take Kentucky to win the SEC. That's my last.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I actually want to talk about a couple other conferences as well. Kentucky, obviously, the runaway favorite in the SEC right now. But there's also been some solid other teams, Alabama and Tennessee, in that conference. I think Alabama actually has a shot to win that as well. They looked good the last few weeks. One conference I wanted to talk about was the Big East. They've been incredible this year. Teams like Providence, UConn, Villanova, who else? Marquette's been really good this year. Tons of teams that can win this conference. A lot of teams that will make March Madness and be able to make deep runs. Providence right now, actually they locked up the Big East for the regular season, being 14-3 in the conference right now. So that was impressive. My pick for the Big East right now is Villanova. They've been so hot all year. 15-4 in the conference, and you see the way they hang in these big games. Beyond their one blowout loss to Baylor at the start of the year, only scoring 36 points against that team. Baylor's one of the best teams in the country, but only scoring 36 points against any team is tough. Seeing that game kind of is a bit of a head scratcher looking towards March Madness and once they start facing more difficult teams. But you see the way this team always plays in the postseason under Jay Wright. They're always so calm and collected. They're just ready for tournament time every year, it seems like, regardless of their seeding, regardless of how they played in the regular season. So that's my pick in that conference. And then looking at the Big Ten, which was just locked up by Wisconsin the other day in a huge win over Purdue. That was a crazy game. I actually got Illinois running it back and winning the Big Ten again. They've been a good team all year. They've been hot the last few weeks. They had a 3-point loss to Ohio State, who's number 22 in the country, last week. But beyond that, they've had a couple of long win streaks this year. They've been looking good this year, beating Michigan State a couple weeks ago, 79-74. They've played every team tough this year. They haven't really gotten blown out by anyone. We saw how physical they play. Kofi Cockburn's been holding it down again this year. He's arguably the best center in college basketball, easily one of them. He is a beast. He's shooting 60% from the field, averaging 21 points a game. He's really just unstoppable, that guy. I actually had Illinois going really far last year. I had him going to the Elite Eight. They were a 1 seed, so I guess it's not that hot of a take. But I would definitely keep an eye on them as a winner for the Big Ten. And there's a couple other good teams like Wisconsin, too. That's a team to keep your eye on, and Purdue as well. But I definitely think Illinois, they got the experience, they got the talent. So I think this conference is theirs to take right now.
Yeah. One thing, last year Mike Hurley called a couple, which is nuts, called both Oral Roberts wins over, I think it was Arkansas second round and then Ohio State first round. He somehow did it. This year, Summit League has been dominated by South Dakota State, the 27-4, but Oral Roberts will be playing Western Illinois for the first round game. They'll be playing them on Sunday, March 6th. I'm going to take Oral Roberts to win that division. Hopefully they can run it back. Max Asmus, the absolute GOAT. He's been going.
Who did they lose? Obernoir to Texas Tech?
Last year they lost to Florida, I believe.
Or no, they lost Obernoir, right? He transferred to Texas Tech.
Oh, Urbana left. Yeah, Texas Tech. Tough transfer. He was a great player, but
he was big for them in the tourney last year. Yeah, he's a
beast.
Tough loss.
Asmus last year averaged 24.5 a game. He's at 22.7 this year, shooting 39% from three, which is nuts. He's been electric. He's a great player. Mike Hurley somehow called that. This year he's calling TCU.
Yeah, that's crazy that he called that TCU. Okay.
He's got TCU in a couple games. I'm going to take TCU in the Big 12 just because he's rolling with them. He knew more last year than I did. I'm going to take TCU in the Big 12 tourney. I don't know. That's what he's going with. I'm going with it for him. I'll take them to win a few games. They had a great win the other night. They beat number 6 Kansas for the second straight top 10 win. They're just absolute dogs. I'm going to take them to win the Big 12 tournament for Mike Hurley.
All it takes is getting hot at the right time. You beat Kansas, you can beat anyone. So.
Absolutely. I get Kentucky win the SEC. Dominant team. That's my squad.
I'm going to Alabama for the SEC just to get my picks for every conference.
I respect that.
We saw the way they looked last year and this year. Returning a lot of the same core. Getting to a number 2 seed in March Madness last year, and going pretty deep as well.
Yeah, I got Big Ten. I'll go Purdue, and then Big East. I don't know. It's tough. I'll go Villanova, but I feel like Providence. Though I like Providence just because around here.
Yeah, I like seeing Providence being that high. I wish that was us, but
yeah, I'll go Villanova just to go there. DePaul 14-14 overall. I rolled with them a little freshman year. Good team. They actually were Lob City against BC. It was nuts, but I'll go.
Yeah,
I'll go Villanova, but I wouldn't mind though.
DePaul would be a hot take to win that tournament.
No, I'm not taking them to win it, but I do like the 14-14 gritty team.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They had Paul Reed when they came to BC.
Oh, he's nasty.
The NBA now. Yeah, he's really good.
And then also their point guard was Charlie something, transferred to Miami, starts there now, but can't remember the name off the top of my head. He's playing that night though, Charlie something. I don't know why I can't remember, but regardless, one thing I wanted to highlight real quick: Emmanuel women's basketball. Shout out Timmy Loftus again. Absolute wagon of a team. 25-1 on the year. They just won the GNAC tournament, a 78-70 win over St. Joseph's College of Maine. And they actually play Brooklyn for the first round of the NCAA Division III tournament Friday. So this coming Friday at 5 o'clock. We'll be rooting for them. They won it again.
Absolutely.
Absolute wagon of 25-1. Roll Saints. We'll see how it goes, but just want to highlight them real quick. Sure. They've had a great season. 16-0 in the conference, too.
Actually, yeah, speaking of women's basketball, I want to highlight BC women's basketball. They're actually a bubble team for March Madness right now. It should be really cool to see them make it. They play a first-round ACC game against Florida State tomorrow, which should be a big game. They've looked good all year. They've had a couple big wins. Actually almost beat number 5 NC State at home in front of a packed crowd, because that was the game they were selling out the Duke tickets. That was a crazy game, getting to see that game in person. They had a big win against Notre Dame a few weeks ago at home as well. They definitely have a tournament resume, and I think an ACC win or two, at least one, will get them definitely in the bubble. They've been seen as one of the last 4 teams by ESPN, and I think an ACC tournament win will definitely bolster that. And then looking forward, I wouldn't be surprised to see them in a play-in game, like one of the first 4 teams being, one of the lower seeds in March Madness. That's what a lot of people are projecting them to be. But either way, it'll definitely be really cool to see them playing a big game on a national stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully they can win it. That NC State game was electric.
That was really
cool. Swartz was nasty. I mean, they were just drilling. She's
been unreal. Yeah. She can shoot from anywhere on the court.
They were all good.
Taylor Stoll had a really good game, too.
They were good
she's always consistent.
NC State had some fans, too. And me and our roommate Jack were having a conversation with one of the fans in line. Some people actually went to the game from NC State, so some dedicated women's basketball fans. I respect it. Nice to see. They were a good team, though, too. NC State, and they just the top 5 in the country, whatever they were. So it makes sense that fans traveled. I thought that was cool.
They've gotten hot at the right time too. They've won 4 out of their last 5. Having some big wins against Duke, beating them by 16, and beating Syracuse by 16 last week. Both of those games were on the road. Swartz being actually the leading scorer in pretty much all of those games. Scoring 22, 22, 21, and 20.
She had like 30 against Penn State again. She's nuts. She's unreal.
Yeah, she's been really nice. And then Maria Gakdan, too, the freshman. She's been racking up a lot of awards this season. Cam Swartz actually just won ACC, Most Improved Player of the Year for women's basketball. Yeah, seriously. She's really one of the best point guards in all of college basketball this year. She's super fun to watch playing, too. Just the way she can shoot, the way she moves around the court. She's just a scorer straight up, and she's fun to watch. Taylor Stoll's had a solid season too. So looking at the BC versus Florida State matchup, they met on February 17th. BC took a tough loss at Florida State, 66-58. That was the only time they met this year. That was a close game regardless. Swartz had 22 in that game to go with 9 rebounds. So we'll definitely need another big performance out of her if we want to take this game. But definitely open for BC to win a game or two in the ACC tournament. I don't know how they'll fare against the likes of, NC State. It's just an absolute powerhouse right now.
I'll take it more seriously, too. NC State now. Those are regular season games, so they didn't have to care.
Yeah, it'll be tough without the fans, too. The fans definitely gave BC a huge boost in that game against NC State.
Definitely.
The whole student section was packed, and there was even overflow seats of students.
It's nuts.
Which is crazy. I'm sure that was an unreal environment for both the fans and the players that night, and it definitely made a difference in the court. You just tell by the energy and the swagger that BC had out there. Sending the game to overtime, actually. They had a couple chances to win it in regulation. Unfortunately, couldn't pull it through, and then made it to overtime. Overtime was close. BC losing by 5, I believe it was. But great game overall, and you can really see the way this team can compete against anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we highlighted Florida State, had a solid season. Morgan Jones had 17 points in that game, so I guess that's someone to pay attention to forward for Florida State. Forward to pay attention to. Probably have to slow her down if you want to win the game. But losing by 8 in that game wasn't a bad one at Florida State. I'll take BC women's basketball by 2. I'll take them. We'll roll with them. The 8 seed. So 8 versus 9 is usually 50-50, but obviously BC will roll with them. I'll take BC by 2, 59-57. Little lower scoring, but
I'm going to take BC also. I'm going to go 65-61. It should be a close game. Swartz, Soul been stepping up all year, and the freshman Maria Gakdan, the center, she's been unreal, grabbing boards, blocking shots. She's a great interior defender. I wouldn't be surprised to see her win ACC Freshman of the Year. She's racked up a lot of Freshman of the Week, or I don't know if they call it Rookie of the Week or Freshman of the Week.
Freshman of the Week honors, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think it's freshman.
Yeah,
or
probably.
Rookie, they call it Rookie in college hockey, so maybe it is.
Yeah, they change
way,
between different leagues.
Freshman,
but
rookie, same thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see her win that award for the year. She's won it multiple times for different weeks. The game's going to be at 2 o'clock tomorrow. I'm super excited, and I'll definitely have to tune into that. Cause I start spring break tomorrow. I'm psyched. So I'm out of class at 12, and then I'll be chilling watching Florida State. So should be a good game either way. I'm really excited to see how the women's team does, and it'd be really cool to see them go dancing. So that's the dream.
Yeah. So there you go. You had our predictions for all the ACC women's and men's basketball tournament. We're psyched about that.
For sure.
Moving on, MLB. We'll talk about the MLB lockout. Despite Major League Baseball's onus and the MLB Players Association meeting for 9 straight days in Jupiter, Florida over the past week and a half, The two sides could not come to a consensus for a collective bargaining agreement.
It's ridiculous.
To salvage opening day on March 31st before the original, which was the original deadline, was February 28th. They moved it, extended it to March 1st, just one extra day to try to figure things out. That didn't work either. The MLB owners and the union met for 15 hours of negotiations on Monday. You would think they could figure something out in 15 hours. They didn't, magically, of course. And now I guess they're still very far off in their proposals on Tuesday afternoon. So yesterday afternoon, they were still far off. MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred announced yesterday that the MLBPA unanimously voted to decline the MLB's final offer before yesterday's 5 p.m. deadline, meaning now we're missing 2 series of the season. So the first 6 games of the season for the Red Sox were all at home starting March 31st. Again, I think it was against the Rays and the Orioles. You're losing all 6 of those games. And then all of a sudden, now it's a short season. It's your second out of 3 of the last 3 seasons that are shortened seasons. And Manfred's got a lot of work to do to figure out. I mean, there's a lot of things.
They've still got a long ways to go. They're still like $50 million off or something crazy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got all the numbers. I mean, they're all over the place. They got, among the issues with a competitive balance tax, that's been an issue, this whole entire lockout for the past 2.5 months. The MLB offered $220 million for the 2022, 2023, and 2024 seasons. But the MLBPA, the union, their proposal was $238 million in 2022, $244 in 2023, and then $250 in 2024. So they're still $30 million off at least, $18 million, $24 million, and then $30 million off there. And then the pre-arbitration bonus pool, that has been a complete mess. The MLBPA was offering, they were requesting $115 million last week. They lowered their offer yesterday to $85 million, but the MLB owners stayed put at $25 million. So there's another $60 million. It's high stakes on both sides. I mean, they both want their money. I mean, I think the players want to play too, but I think they want their money at the same time. So
the players don't really want to be the first one to back out. It's kind of like both sides of the disagreements. That if they wait longer, then the other side will eventually back in. But
they don't want to back down. That's the thing. They agreed on one thing. I mean, they agreed on 12-team postseason, so I guess one thing's positive.
Yeah, that works.
They got that. But as a result, March 31st will no longer be the 2022 season's opening day, unfortunately, and the MLB announced the first 2 series of the season, I said, would be canceled. So that's devastating as a baseball fan. This is, once again, the second out of the last 3 seasons that won't complete the 162-game marathon. And this is also the first time games have been canceled since the 1995 season due to a work stoppage. So I know we had the games canceled because of COVID a couple years ago, but that wasn't the exact same. Obviously, that was a health thing, a little bit different. This is, obviously a work stoppage due to the collective bargaining agreement not being agreed to before the deadline, which is honestly depressing as a baseball fan since I love baseball. I love having day games in April and having something to watch every day. I love baseball more than anything.
Yeah, it's always nice. It just really feels like spring. You get back from class, turn on the TV, the Red Sox are on.
Anything. I mean, I watch Phillies Braves. I don't care.
And you never know how far this thing is going to get delayed now. Considering that the season won't start till the 7th or the 8th right now.
Who knows? Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Day by day, it's just going to get later and later. So
it's tough.
Just hope for the best.
I know pitches. I mean, myself, you need at least me. I used to use 3 weeks with practice before a season started. But MLB pitchers need 6 weeks of throwing in a bullpen and then exhibition games, stuff like that. Hitters need just about 2 to 3 weeks to get back in the swing of things. Fielding probably 2 weeks. But pitching needs a lot of time to get their arm back in shape. And there's going to be a lot of injuries this coming year, unfortunately, to pitching because they weren't ready and weren't prepared. They didn't have the month of exhibition games they typically do, and that's the problem. Let's say they magically come to agreement March 9th, a week from now. You still need a week, probably or 2 of free agency, because I've highlighted every week now that guys like Freddie Freeman and Trevor Story and Carlos Correa haven't been signed yet. And then you're going to need probably 2 weeks of spring training. They're all just warming up their arms and bats and everything, and then you're going to need probably 2 or 3 weeks of of a preseason. I mean, even if they came to agreement right now, I don't know how you could start on April 7th when you don't have guys that are ready. Pitching's not ready. I mean, there are guys that are still free agents.
Yeah, that's really less than 5 weeks away, April 7th, so
it's really a mess.
It's really unrealistic at this point that they even start then.
It really is a mess.
Especially with, pitchers needing that much time.
Oh, definitely. And our family friend, Timmy Loftus, the GOAT, just texted me he wants to get back to Fenway. I mean, me too. I mean, we all do. As a fan's perspective,
yeah, seriously.
I'm completely with you there. And I know it's honestly selfish that the MLBPA and the owners couldn't come to an agreement. I think the players say they want to play in it. At the same time, if they really wanted to play that bad, they would really probably just start cutting all their money in half and saying, okay, I'll play for, $60 million as the arbitration pool rather than $115. Now they're at $85. But regardless, I mean, they want their side to be right. The union wants their side, the MLBPA, the union wants their side to be right, the MLB owners want their side to be right. So, I mean, it's a mess, really. I really, as a fan, can't decide either side because I just feel like they're both just doing the same thing. So, It's really hard. It sucks for younger players, too. Because now
just
spring
tough
training
as a fan, regardless.
Definitely. Now spring training will be cut, so now single A and double A guys that usually can try to show what they can do to try to move up a class from single A to double A won't be able to do that if it's only like a 2 or 3 week exhibition series now. 2 or 3 week exhibition season.
Going to make it a lot harder for those guys.
Definitely
got to feel for them.
But we'll see how it goes. We'll continue to cover that. Hopefully, we'll see how things go. But realistically, I don't see baseball starting by like April 20th right now, and that's just realistic. I mean, I don't know.
And that's if they come to an agreement soon, which hopefully they do.
I mean, then they can negotiate. I think tomorrow they can start talking again. So I don't know. Which will be March 3rd. So we'll see how that goes.
We'll hope for the best with that. But we'll keep you guys posted, obviously. But tough situation as it is right now.
Bruins, Celtics.
Yeah, let's move into the Bruins. So we'll do a quick speed round of each. We'll give each like 5 minutes, as we only got about 10 minutes left. So the Bruins had a tough loss to the Anaheim Ducks last night, 4-3. Tough game for the team that has been really playing well the last few weeks. What did you see out there?
Yeah, they won 5 in a row actually before this game. The Ducks, were coming in. I think they were pretty decent, pretty even with the Bruins. The Bruins beat the NHL's best team, the Colorado Avalanche, 5-1, and then also beat a good team in LA. The LA Kings 7-0 on Monday night. Second night of a back-to-back typically isn't easy for a basketball or hockey team. The Bruins struggled early and found themselves in a 3-1 deficit.
It's been a long road trip, too. We had the Sharks and the Kraken before that.
Oh, yeah. So. It's a long road trip.
San Jose, Seattle,
then
to LA, Anaheim. Going to Vegas tomorrow night, too.
Vegas, yeah. These guys are definitely gassed.
It's been a long road trip for the
They
team.
did win 5 in a row before that, but finding themselves in a 3-1 deficit after the first period was tough. They did fight back. David Pastrnak had his 29th goal of the season in the third period to tie the game, but the Bruins did surrender a goal to former BU standout center Trevor Zegras with 22 seconds left in regulation for the game winner. The Bruins fell 4-3, as Zach said. So after a rough start to the contest, though, it's a positive that they came back and made a close game. They do have a tough opponent.
Starting down 3-1, start of the second period, then, and clawing back to make it 3-3, and then only giving them a goal with 22 seconds left. That's not bad at all. Looking at the box score, the Bruins did play pretty well. They outshot Anaheim 34-28. They did get a couple more penalties, though, which ended up hurting us in the end with Zegras' goal coming on the power play. And actually their first goal from Raquel was also a power play goal. So, it's kind of tough to see that. But, team's been hot, so really can't complain after beating the Kings 7-0 on, Monday night? Monday night. And then had a big win over the Avalanche 5-1, the best team in the league on President's Day. So still got to be happy with the team, the way this team's been playing and the way they're looking up for the rest of the season. Yeah,
Jeremy Swayman, got a text from Mike Curley, got his contribution in here. He's had defensive lapses have been an issue for the Bruins, obviously. That's been a thing all season we've talked about. But Jeremy Swayman's been
playing really well.
He was Rookie of the Month, actually, for February. 5-1-1 with a 1.13 goals against average and 96 save percentage with 2 shutouts in 7 games. He was elite.
Had a great game Monday night against the Kings, yeah.
Yeah, played well. I think tomorrow night will be a good one. He stopped 190 of the 198 shots he faced, and yielded 2 goals or fewer in 6 of his 7 starts. This comes from NHL.com.
Went 34 for 34 on Monday night versus the Kings.
Absolutely, yeah. He's 23 years old.
DeBrusk had a hat-trick that night, too. I want to shout that out.
DeBrusk, yeah, I know. Me and my crew were talking about that. It might up his price, which might help. I'd keep him just because how well he's played, but obviously if he doesn't want out, if he wants out, I never want a guy that doesn't want to be on my team. I'd usually just trade them and say screw it.
Yeah, Sam, you don't want that. If he can keep playing like this for the team, and if he can start to claw back to the way he was in 2018, 2019, it'll help our depth tremendously and, really help us moving towards the playoffs. This team's kind of struggled with depth offensively and defensively this year.
Absolutely. So there's that take on the Bruins. Hopefully they figure things out tomorrow and get back on track. 5-1 in their last 6, though, not bad. Hopefully beat the Kings tomorrow night. Thursday night game in Vegas, so it'd be a good one. But Celtics, we got a couple minutes to talk about them.
Speed round for the Celtics, yeah.
Despite losing 2 of the last 4 games, the Pacers and the Pistons, they did recover last night. They were down 14 at half. Did beat the Hawks.
They were down 17 at one point. Yeah.
Down 17, down 14 at half. It was a long game. They did come back. Jaylen Brown did get hurt. He exited early. Ime Udoka did.
Not supposed to be a long-term injury, though.
He said shouldn't keep him out weeks. Probably keep him out a couple games, hopefully. But he said there's still swelling on his ankle, so I doubt he'll play tomorrow against Memphis. But just 3 minutes into the game was hurt. Tatum played well in his absence. 12 of 25.
That was tough. He was on the ground for a while, too. I was pretty nervous seeing that. So
you never want to see him down, especially since he's always hurt. Him, Marcus Smart.
Last year in the playoffs was brutal without him. Definitely need him moving forward in the season. So super thankful that it's only a short-term injury. Tatum had a great game last night, 33 points, He really led the way for the team. Really got hot in that second quarter and third quarter when he started making a comeback in front of a sold-out TD Garden crowd. So, great to see that. The Hawks have struggled this year, but I think the Hawks are better than the record shows. Still a good win for the team. Trae Young played well for the Hawks as he always does, had 31 points, shooting 12 for 25. He still got his, and we were still able to come out and get the win. Big win for the team. Got a big game against Memphis tomorrow night, who's been really hot. Memphis is third in the West right now. Wow, okay. They've been really hot this year. John Morant's been unreal the last few games.
46 and 52 points his last two performances, so he's coming in hot.
The last few weeks has been crazy.
Celtics right now
getting shoutouts from guys like AI.
Yeah, he's been killing it. Celtics right now currently 6th in the East. Would avoid a play-in if the playoffs started today, so got to stay hot. Obviously, Grant Williams played really well yesterday. 6-11 for 4, 18 points. Then also newly acquired guy, I know you're a big fan of him. Derek White. Yep. He had 18 points and 5 assists to help the Celtics win the game.
Yeah, he had a great game. He's been shooting pretty well. And his three ball's been struggling too, and we know that'll come back. But just the way he fits within the team, the way he plays hard every single play, that's really what I love. And I think he's a perfect complement to Marcus Smart in the backcourt, and a great complement to guys like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum as well. Fits perfectly in our offense and defense. Celtics are actually 6th right now, as you said. But, the top of the East is wide open right now. We're only 5 games behind the first seed, actually. Still with, I got to do some quick math, 18 games left to play.
There you go. Look at you.
I know I pulled that one out quick. But, it's really anyone's game right now to win the Eastern Conference. You got teams like the Heat, the Bulls, Sixers, Bucks, Cavs, and then Celtics in that order. We're only half a game behind the Cavs right now. I definitely think if we can keep our hot streak up, we have an easier schedule in March, one of the easiest in the league, actually. We could see this team ideally move up to the 3 or 4 seed by the time the playoffs roll around mid-April. And then that would put us in an easier matchup, hopefully against a team like the Raptors, which would be absolutely huge for us. Because the way it's looking right now, if we started the playoffs today, we'd play the Sixers, who I wasn't actually super worried about, and I'm still waiting to see.
I'm worried. I think
we're still a bit in the honeymoon phase with them, with Embiid and Harden. They're only 2-0 right now, but they've had 2 big wins.
Yeah,
but I don't see when you make a big trade like that, you kind of expect to win games by that much just because everyone's super stoked. I wouldn't expect those kind of dominating performances to continue every night, but they're still a threat to win the East right now. But that would be a close series either way if we ended up playing the Sixers. But I would take the Celtics in that one still, actually. It'd probably go to 7 realistically either way. But the East is really wide open right now, so I'm looking at the Celtics getting a 3 or 4 seed right now. I said at the start of the year I think the Celtics going to be a 3 seed, and I'm sticking by that.
I'll take them at 5 or 6. I still don't think we're beating. I've said it before. It's Sixers, Nets. We have the highlights every week. Sixers, Nets, Bucks. I don't think we can beat any of them in a 7-game series, but I do think we're improving. We're definitely getting better. I still don't see us stopping and beating. Now with Harden too, if he stays on, he's back in shape all of a sudden. He's not hurt. He's completely healthy now all of a sudden, which you knew was going to happen when he got traded.
I think we can move up the standings. So we got a lot of easy games coming up. We got Brooklyn, who's been short-handed. The Hornets, then Pistons. Got the Kings coming up. The Thunders. The Thunder. I just said the Thunders.
Thunders, yeah.
Yeah, seriously. But easier schedule coming up for the Celtics, so definitely excited for the next few weeks. Hopefully we keep moving up the standings. We're really close. And generally, only 5 games from the first seed, only a couple games behind the 3rd seed. So it's really anyone's ball game right now. And why not the Celtics? They've been really hot.
I think 5 or 6 would be solid. I just think if you're losing games to the Pistons and the Pacers and almost losing to the Hawks last night, and you beat a lot of bad teams too. I don't know. I just don't think they're as good as they've played in the past few years since they've had some easier games, especially losing some of the easy games. That's tough. But then again, that's a long season. Maybe they can figure things out. I'm hoping, but
for sure. And their defense has really stepped up big time the last few weeks. Also, I think that's a major difference in a couple of the changes they made, getting rid of Schroeder and adding Derek White. The defense of this team looks a lot stronger. Having guys like Smart, Derek White, and Rob Williams, who are all defensive studs now. So definitely a big.
Absolutely. So we got a minute left. We'll wrap up, but thank you guys so much for listening. Just want to get one more roll of skis in. Never worry, no worries. Big games coming up for them in hockey and basketball. Some quick shout-outs. Shout out Mike Curry, the Guru, always contributing. Timmy Loftus, the whole Loftus family. Thank you guys so much for listening. Lisa, Jean, Helena, Finn and Tristan, both goats. And the whole O'Malley family. Thank you guys for listening in. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. My whole family and all my friends, Mark Walsh, thank you guys. My parents, you guys are great for listening. And Really quick, happy birthday to my sister. Her birthday's tomorrow, actually.
Happy birthday.
Thursday. Happy birthday, Mary Rose. Should be a good one. Shout out BTS and Jungkook. I know she's a big fan of them. So had to get my quick shout outs in. Anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Yeah, thank you guys for listening again. Obviously, it's been another great week. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks for our March Madness preview. We're super excited about that. We'll see you guys then.
Yeah, so March 16th it'll be 7 to 8 p.m. And then one really quick thing, on a more serious note, just praying for peace in the Ukraine. I know it's not sports, but it's humanity, and my heart goes out to them, hoping things work out. Hopefully there's peace at some point soon. Obviously, we're praying and hoping for that since things have been really rough there. So thank you guys so much for listening, though. Stay safe and well. Have a good week over the next week. We'll see you guys March 16th, 7 8 p.m. We'll be back. So thank you guys so much again. Have a great night.